Hello, world! I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned in to another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of not just the news, but answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, Chris, when are you going to do your iOS 8.3 review? The answer to that question is, I did it today, live, and I did it specifically for my Supernomies, aka the patrons. You can become one, starting at just $2 a month, and I'm going to be doing the Q&A videos for them now, again, as an exclusive. Over 100 exclusive videos have already been done for my patrons, aka the Supernomies, 5 new ones a week. This is just a decision I'm kind of being forced to make, knowing that one of the biggest values I might have for you on a regular basis is, my insight, my knowledge. Now, if you're also wondering, Chris, why are you only going to start making the TLDRs for Monday and Friday public? Well, that's because, again, I want more of my my Supernomies to really understand how much they mean to me and how much you all mean to me. I will continue to publish the TLDR broadcasts as audio podcasts in the podcast channel. So, of course, you can subscribe. There's something there for everybody. And I give a little more to the people who give a little more. That's really how it kind of goes here. I posted my Sriracha popcorn review. If you like snacks, and let's face it, I think every person on the planet loves snacks or would love snacks. If you like Sriracha or even spicy stuff, and you know what? It's spicy, but it's good. It is really good. And I'm not even a Sriracha fan. I mean, I know it's a big deal for nerds to like Sriracha, or at least some of them. But this was about the best Sriracha flavored snack I'd ever had. Absolutely worth trying. We've posted a 39% off discount for the Lomography 35mm film camera and Lomo Kinoscope at deals.lockergnome.com. Almost a 40% discount. I know, I pushed for 40. They said 39 is the best we can do. I said, fine, okay. Deals.lockergnome.com. We also have a Linux Academy 30-day subscription for free at deals.lockergnome.com and the iFixit Pro Tech Toolkit bundle at 40% off. Plus, if you want to learn how to use Evernote, yeah, you can try it. You can, learn it. It's pretty simple. But if you were looking for a guide on how to best use Evernote, we've also posted that for free, the missing manual on LockerGnome. It's really easy to do. Not deals.lockergnome.com. That's a full-on lockergnome.com. You can subscribe to our email newsletter, get it. Check out the links in this media files description. Whether you're watching in video or listening to the audio podcast, we've got tons of stuff for you every single day. Right now, I'm drinking what I think is a very geeky beer, but I don't want to ruin it because I featured it in the Nerd Hall CPU episode. This is something that I'm learning over time. I want to talk and I want to do so many videos. The problem is I can't. And it's not because I don't want to. It's not that I don't have the time. It's that YouTube and their algorithm makes it not very conducive to doing more things. It actually makes it conducive to doing fewer things. So, instead of doing individual product reviews like I've done in the past, unless it's a big deal, kind of like a new iPhone or a new gadget, a big one, I'm going to be doing weekly geeky nerd hauls and finding the things that I've had over the past week to highlight in one video, kind of like the way Pirillo Picks was way back when. And so that they don't get overrun with Star Wars products, every week I'm also going to do a Star Wars haul. And now we've got the car stuff too. So it's the videos. I'm going to do fewer videos in my classic YouTube channel, about 2 or 3 a week now, instead of doing one every day. And I know that it's really kind of, for me, it's massively scaling back, but I kind of need to. That's the way YouTube works. Of course, I'll be featuring other unique products and fun foods. Those are likely going to be going into the daily Pirillo vlogs. If you haven't subscribed to that, you probably should. But tried a new candy that I thought would be kind of fun to try, and I did that with Diana. So we kind of did a co-review together, a pseudo-review together in the car in the middle of the vlog, and I think that's the best way to accommodate that when we find new things to try together. Star Wars Celebration is happening this week. I'm excited. Can't really tell you why. Don't want to, reveal too much yet. It's kind of a surprise, but I want to know, are you going to be at Star Wars Celebration? Gotta know. I really gotta know. This is the only event, apart from the ones that we're producing, Vlogger Fair and Gnome Decks this year, later on this year, one in August and the other one likely in September. Tickets will go on sale any second now, I think, or should. I know. Takes a lot of work to do things for you. But anyway, this is the one event I wanted to go to. Star Wars Celebration. This is to me, the most exciting event that I think I could ever possibly attend in my entire life. And I was excited to go to a Comdex back in the day. Unfortunately, I don't know if I ever had a chance to. I went to CES back in the day. Been to CES a few times, and quite honestly, CES is interesting, but the people who are there aren't there for the same reason you might be. You might be there to see all the new tech. That's cool because you're there to see the new tech and the new products. But a lot of the people that go to CES are mixed in with you, the buyers and the distributors and the sellers, and you're rubbing shoulders with people who are not interested in the same things you are, or at least for the same reasons. Star Wars Celebration, on the other hand, man, that is full on Star Wars. I would love to run if I could run a Star Wars event, it'd be something like that. There are a few Star Wars events, but of course that's the one to beat. Happening this week, if you're going, let me know. Amazon is bringing HDR to Prime Video. Now, I've only experimented with HDR video. I'm looking for my phone. It's charging. I used Hydra, which is an app that I featured a few weeks ago as a CPU episode. Hopefully you took that recommendation. And even if you weren't willing to pay for it, I told you how to get it for free. Go.tagjag.com/free apps and go.tagjag.com/free points. Easy to earn apps for free. Super, super simple. So it's interesting. They're going to be doing HDR video, Prime Video. Some people are not looking forward to this. I am. I love HDR. I've tried HDR video in the past. It hasn't worked very well, but of course I'm talking about an app on a phone versus like a dedicated camera. I'm not going to say that HDR video is the future, but a high dynamic range video shot could change a lot, for better or for worse. Now directors or producers have a different style that they could go with. I wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind at all. Not at all. Very much looking forward to the day of HDR video. I like HDR photos, though. I usually prefer HDR photos, even when I know I'm not in a situation where HDR photos would be needed. For example, the picture I took of the Kia Electric Soul that I've been driving as a test vehicle, if I didn't use HDR, the sun, as it was bouncing off of the chassis, would have made this part white rather than blue. And HDR allows that part to be blue, a lighter blue, but not blown out by the sun as it was reflecting off the car's paint job. So HDR video would basically do virtually the same thing. Very much looking forward to it. Glad to hear that Amazon is looking down that path. I believe that Earle Greene sent me that link, but I did see it otherwise. But I do want to give Earle credit for that, if only because of the way I see this is formatted here in my show notes in front of me. Apple! Oh, I hope you've been enjoying iSheep, the weekly show that we're doing. I'm going to be included in more of the Apple show as time goes on. We're going to infuse the things that I do in the TLDR broadcasts and the things that John says. We're going to have a special app of the week and a dedicated Apple show every week because we can. And we've yet to find a better name than iSheep. iSheep. Until we're told otherwise. That's what we're going. Because people make fun of people. They call you an iSheep. Well, we might as well co-opt it and make it positive. Apples. Blah. Not to oranges. Apple. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference kicks off June 8th at San Francisco's Moscone West. This is actually fascinating to know. We've got a date. We've got a general feel for what's going to be happening. With this next WWDC, I expect a few things to come down the pike, including what they expect the next version of OS X to have, as well as the next version of iOS. Now, rumor suggests from qualified sources, and you know I don't like rumors at all, iOS 9 may very well be a Chris Pirillo told you were sloppy, so we went ahead and cleaned it up edition. That's how I feel. That was a horrible name for an edition. Can I try that again? iOS 9. It's going to be a good addition, I think. So, in terms of where Apple's going, I think the bigger picture is not just individual devices. It's God bless him. Hang on. I need another drink of my geeky beer. Apple, as it moves forward, and I think this was a little hint in terms of how they constructed the logo for this version of WWDC as a composition of various shapes and colors, comes together. And when you have a whole bunch of pieces and you put them all together and they create a perfect balance between one another, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think when Apple talks about change, specifically with this forthcoming WWDC, they're talking about cohesive strategy. They're talking about involving the watch and the Apple TV and the iPhone and the iPad and the Mac. And when you have one, you've got an okay experience. When you have two, it might get a little better. Three, wow, this is suddenly feeling like everything belongs together. When you have all of Apple's products, only not so tone deaf. Everything's designed to work together in such a way that no other company is doing. That's Apple's strategy. They don't just want you to buy one thing. They want you to buy all the things. Hey, every company wants you to buy all the things. It's just that Apple is going extra miles to make sure that those devices work together cohesively. And I think that is the overarching strategy. We expect to hear more about Apple TV. We expect to hear more about the Apple Watch, though not as much as we would software, because WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, it's probably not hardware developers specifically. Yeah, I guess in an associated capacity. It's more about the software developers. What can those software developers do on Apple's platform to enable experiences for you? So it's about having a cohesive strategy, not just talking about one device, but one device as it interoperates in this archipelago of experiences to creating a better life for you. And I think that's what I would expect to see. More cohesiveness between the various hardware platforms that Apple offers consumers. And nobody else is even coming close. Nobody else is in that ballpark at all. You can't just look at it as one device is an amazing device. It's that one device as it interoperates with the other devices in your life. And I think that's the expectation, my expectation for WWDC, hearing more about the cohesiveness of what Apple is doing for consumers. Apple is also going to be banning selfie sticks. Do you have a selfie stick? I had a selfie stick before they were called selfie sticks. I don't mind selfie sticks. I don't know why people are so upset about selfie sticks. I think they're fine. But Apple's banning them from WWDC. It makes sense because they don't want, people sticking up sticks and taking pictures and doing wacky things when they are there to present to the world amazing stuff. A lot of events apparently have banned selfie sticks, not because they pose any kind of, safety hazard or threat. It's just that they're annoying to people that are there to watch something that's happening on stage. I don't mind selfie sticks. I don't make fun of anybody that has a selfie stick. I had a selfie stick. I'd have to make fun of me. I guess that makes me a hipster. I had a selfie stick before they were called selfies. I wouldn't mind getting a selfie stick. I can't even finish this sentence. That's how I'm not even agitated. I'm trying to draw from this false sense of outrage that people have. What is your problem with selfie sticks? I mean, I get why Apple's not, going to have them, and I think that's fine for them to do because they're there for an experience. But why do people make fun of other people with selfie sticks? I mean, they do this. They don't make fun of people for doing it. It's a selfie camera. You don't take a selfie. If you want a better selfie picture, you use a stick. I have zero issues with selfie sticks or people who use them. Now, that may change. I may decide to start making fun of people who use selfie sticks. But that would mean I'd have to start making fun of myself, and I do that anyway. So, wait, okay, that's it. I'm going to start making fun of people with selfie sticks. Because it's the thing to do. I don't mind. But if you're going to WWDC, don't bring a selfie stick or they will get mad at you and you will never be able to buy another Apple product as long as you live. No, I don't think they're going to go that far. They might. That would be scary if that were to happen. I don't know about that. Apple is, ruling the roost with the news there, but I've got other things to say. I'm going to move on from Apple. Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix. Can we talk about Netflix? Also available on Apple TV. Oh, I did it again. Sorry. Not sorry. Netflix has got a new feature, a narration feature, that will describe what's happening for the visually impaired. This is kind of neat. I'm the type of person that, especially when I'm watching shows like Game of Thrones or even Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I will have closed captioning turned on. It's not that I need it. It's just that sometimes it helps me with the dialogue, especially when I'm tripping over names and trying to get used to names and the spelling of names and what they're saying. So I don't mind having closed captioning on. I don't need that for any specific reason other than for clarity of self. I don't know if I would go as far as to have something like this turned on, but that's kind of neat. The narration of what's happening on the screen, something that can't necessarily be described in words or closed captioning as accurately as it might be able to be described, or as deeply as it might be able to be described by someone who's actually watching. So just a new feature, especially for visually impaired, and you were looking for extra help. I may need that at some point in the future because, believe you me, I cannot see very clearly at all. Slightly old news, and this being about a week old or so, Office Online and Dropbox integration is now official. Dropbox, if it had a killer app, it's people who use Office and are looking to better synchronize files. To have these two entities come together is rather amazing. A Dropbox, I don't know where it's going in the future. I only imagine it's likely going to be acquired, and I would say that Microsoft would be a key acquirer of Dropbox. Apple tried. They really did try eons ago, and didn't happen. I think, in fact, as a matter of fact, I think every major player tried to acquire Dropbox. Kind of glad they didn't, though. Dropbox has grown very well on its own, but it may get to a point where it needs to be acquired in order to continue to innovate and add new features and making it easier and better for not just individuals, but for teams as well. If you're a fan of Google Chrome 1, update to version 42, just released today. That's the new version with a whole bunch of security fixes in tow, as well as some new features, allegedly, performance-wise. It got some nips and tucks. I haven't seen any major differences in using Chrome since updating to 42. I was excited to get 41. 41 had support for emoji. Chrome Live is happening April 22nd. This is a web-only event that I know of, or at least you can tune in by way of the web. And if you're a fan of Chrome, if you're a developer, you should tune into this just to find out where they're going. If I have the time, I will be tuning in to find out what's coming down the pike. I always get excited to read changelogs. Maybe I'm kind of nerdy that way, but though I'm not a developer, can't speak the language clearly, the language of developers. I know there are many languages. I guess that's kind of a joke. I like reading changelogs. I like seeing where things are. I like seeing where things are going, if only because I have a better idea about, my excitement. Am I going to be excited for the new version? Do I, care about the features that they're rolling out? Is it the direction I want to see a product go? So Chrome Live is the name of that event. The links, of course, that I'm sharing with you are in this video description, if I have a link in relation to what I'm talking about. Video description, audio description, description. LEGO, and I got tagged on this so many times. LEGO Dimensions are coming. It's a cross-console kind of Amiibo or Skylanders or Disney's Infinity, but LEGO. Now, people have asked, Chris, are you going to be getting this? Here's the thing. I don't have any game consoles. I've got an Xbox 360. That's it. I don't really play it a lot. I'm sure when Jedi's old enough, I'm sure we'll either get all the consoles or one of the consoles that, happens to have the games or experiences that she would want. I'd be inclined to collect something like this, but the thing is, a lot of the figures, unless they're incredibly unique, I'm just not sure I want to collect. I guess they talked about the Wizard of Oz characters, and to my knowledge, they've never done a Wizard of Oz or the Wizard of Oz set. So I would be interested, as long as they're classic, like original minifigures, untouched, I'd be interested. Now, if they're not true minifigures, it's not as interesting to me. I was never really interested in any of the LEGO games. I only played a couple of them, here and there. But the LEGO video games, looked awesome, but I just couldn't. My patience for those types of games, it hasn't been that intense, really, in my older years. I'm much more inclined to play casual games at this point in my life than I am those types of games. But anyway, they're getting their own Amiibo called Dimensions. That's the easiest way to frame it for people. It's not called Amiibo. Don't freak out. Adobe has created a new tool called Character Animator. Now, this looks cool. So, effectively, you can sit in front of your webcam and start moving and talking, and you've designed a character, and it will move and talk, and you can record that in real time. So you can animate yourself in such a way that couldn't really be done before. So if you're subscribed to the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, this is something that I guess you would have access to. This is something that's fascinating. I would love, honestly, this would be cool. It would be nice to do videos in some way, shape, or form where I was an animated character instead of myself. I would love to do a TLDR as an animated character, or maybe a Q&A video. Just one kind of video, brief video. I don't know what it would be, but it would be fun to be an animated character. I've always wanted to be a cartoon. I know some people said, Chris, you should get into voice acting. I don't know where to begin. I know I'm not trained for it. I don't have the background for it, and I'm sure I would have to move. And that's not going to happen. Doctor Who is set to continue for at least 5 more years. 5 more years of Doctor Who. Hopefully we'll have another one. Another Doctor, that is. I'm still not a fan of Capaldi. I know I say that every time I bring up Doctor Who, but I kind of have to. Tennant's still my Doctor. Still my Doctor. Oh, by the way, speaking of 5 more years, I intend to be here in 5 more years, yes. But the rest of the week is not going to have a TLDR. This week is going to be different. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the live broadcasts are going to be hangouts specifically for patrons. They'll be TLDR and Q&A-esque, but I can't get into why. These are going to be hangouts that are not going to be made public, but eventually you'll discover what's going on. I don't want to any surprises. Just wanted to let everybody know that. No TLDRs for the rest of the week. And you'll understand. You will. You will. And if you don't understand, there is something wrong with you. This one definitely came in by way of Earle Greene. 1 in 5 millennials across the internet exclusively. Can I read that again? What was I just saying about being not visually inclined to see everything? My vision sucks. I'm going to try that again. 1, as I slide the glasses down my nose for people who can't see me. There's a visual for you. 1 in 5 millennials access the internet exclusively through mobile devices. 1 in 5. Wasn't that a Doors song? Maybe not. It's been a while since I heard it. No, 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 no. 1 in 5. No one here gets out alive. 5 in 1? 1 in 5? So now that I've shown my extreme lack of classic rock knowledge, even though I do like the Doors, I was horrible at remembering lyrics. That's a big deal. When I was a millennial, as in that age, Gen X wasn't a term. I kind of came, on the tail end of Gen X. We didn't have rage fancy mobile devices. We had luggables. We could check email possibly on FidoNet or a BBS. But it wasn't a reality for us. Now, 1 in 5 access the internet exclusively through mobile devices. I would go as far as to say that my wife Diana, who's not a millennial, accesses the internet near exclusively by way of a mobile device. So I think that's the future. The future is going to be going mobile. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, that does not mean I want to get rid of my computers, as in traditional computers. We're not talking about pocket computers, mobile devices. We're talking about traditional computers here. If you love the PC, hey, that's great. You can have the PC. Good for you. Most people don't want one, don't need one. Now, gamers, of course, are an exception to that rule. But, how long is that going to continue as a trend? I really don't know. I would expect that within 10 years' time, and in fact, I'm fairly confident, Jedi may have experience with computers, if only because of what I might have access to on a regular basis. I need a full-on computer for video crunching and processing. In fact, the new Final Cut Pro 10 that I got, 10.2 now? They just released an update. Processes in conjunction with compressor so much faster, like dramatically faster, noticeably faster. I'm very, very happy to have that. Final Cut Pro 10 has just improved over time, but I didn't like Final Cut Pro, the earlier version, or Final Cut Pro Express. I never quite understood. Always been a fan of Final Cut Pro 10. So to know that over time the stats are going to skew their direction, you've got to keep that in mind. Jedi is likely to have her first computing experience on a phone or a tablet. Definitely not a traditional computer. That's going to become the rule. And anybody who uses a computer in the traditional sense, a PC or a Mac, might be seen as a dinosaur. Hate to say that, but I don't mind saying that because I'm over the hill officially. I'm over 40. This year, I finally discovered the secret to life, the universe, and everything. Though, very much looking forward to that on my birthday. That's just a fascinating stat to me, and knowing that I would say not all, but most of my parents' access to the internet, it likely happens by way of these non-traditional computing experiences, mobile devices, their phones or their tablets. And that's going to be the way of the future, man. You got to let go of the past, man. You're holding on to the past. Don't know what to tell you there. That's just the way that's a stat. What do you want me to do? I can't change it. Don't get mad at me. Hate the game, not the player. Is that the phrase that I'm supposed to? That's what the millennials say, right? Also, by way of Earle Greene, the future of journalism is Facebook, tweeting, Instagram, etc. It's less about going through one entity and more about just getting it through the people that you know and love and trust. That's great. I've talked about this before so many times, and I know people are tired of hearing me talk about this, but I kind of have to beat this dead horse. When you are caught in the middle as someone who gives not just information, but insight, knowledge, analysis, when you're someone who shares their opinion with the world, it's difficult to offset your costs through traditional means on the internet, traditional being ad-supported models, because there's so much of it, so much content. And it's not even the content, it's the insight. So one of the reasons I've driven towards the patron campaign is specifically because I know those people value my advice at least $2 a month. My advice to them is worth that much. My guidance might be worth that much. Something I say, something I discover, something that I help them with is worth at least that much. In an ad revenue model, your value is only contingent on how many people saw it. Now, if you think that's the way to go, ask a Firefly, ask a Firefly fan if that was the way to go. Firefly was successful. It's still successful by just about every possible measurement, but it didn't get picked up. Not enough people saw it. So, it sucks. Firefly sucks because not enough people saw it. Really? Does that make any sense? No. There are a lot of choices. But the value of something is not necessarily contingent on how many people see something. In an ad-supported model, it is. And that sucks. That really sucks. And then as a publisher or content creator, whatever you want to call these people, your favorite personalities, when you're caught in between the advertiser and the ad blocker people, you got nothing. Because that's a constant war you can't fight. You're just trying to do your job, whatever that job happens to be. And it's a losing battle. So this has caused me great strain and consternation. I've yet to have any solid answers because I'm the product in many ways. I've wanted to look past that. I've wanted to be able to, I know I say, I've said this before, but I'm serious. I've wanted to create my own products. I wanted to create my own action figures. No, it wouldn't necessarily be Tron action figures. I don't have the license for that. But it'd be cool to create something that people could play with and have and hold and showcase. I don't know how to get it done. So I'm doing research. I'm learning slowly but surely. I don't want to be the product anymore. And it's fun to do. I love talking. I like sharing my opinions. But unfortunately, doing it that way, the way it has been and being ad-supported doesn't work. Grateful for sponsors. Love sponsors. Really appreciate sponsors. Sponsors to me are not advertisers. Sponsors understand the content that they're bringing forward. Advertisers don't. I love working with sponsors and will continue to do so. Earle Greene also sent a link, and this may be a perfect place to round off today's show. IKEA now offers a place for you to get married online. You want to get married, but you don't want to deal with the people and the guests and everything? You can do it online with IKEA. Get married through IKEA. No joke. You can do it. They even tell you how to do it legally and everything. You have to have an officiant and witnesses and everything in the same room. But you can have a virtual wedding through IKEA. IKEA. It's the only part of the song that I know. Long ago in days of yore, it all began with a god named Thor and a guy who could not keep a beat to save his life. IKEA. Okay, moving on. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. The link, check it out. If you know someone who's getting married but hates people, apart from the person they're married, assumedly, they are marrying, send them the link. It's kind of fun. I like ending the show on a happy note. That's a happy note. Aww. You can get married on... I would have chosen that. If I had a choice with Diana. I'd have been able to invite everybody. At that point, I could only invite the... at that point, the Super Nomies. Through the Nomies service. But that's kind of moved on to the Patreon campaign. So, I'm not going to get married with Diana here. I am married. I'm not saying... Okay. I'm happily married and will be for the rest of my life. Diana is she's the one for me. Always has been, always will be. And without Diana, I would not have been able to give birth to the best thing to hit the planet ever since Mystery Peeps. And that would be, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about my daughter Jedi. Sorry, I started thinking about what I wanted to do at the end of the show. I was talking about Jedi. Of course I didn't think about Jedi. I mean, I did think about Jedi. God, now I'm like Freudian slipping left and right. She's been either going through growing pains or teething today. She's 7 months old, and we're happy about that, but she's not happy at all. So I'm kind of sad about that. Yeah, she was the best thing that I've ever created. And I think I am going to end the show on a funny note. Carlos, I started thinking about Mystery Peeps, and then that's what threw me off track. Carlos K. & Cook sent me the Mystery Peeps. I just tried a couple of them in the, this week's Geek Hall video, and then gave my impressions. Each one of them is flavored differently. They're sweet and salty and sour and savory and zesty. So I'm going to try another one here, Carlos, just for you, because you're one of my patrons. And you're going to know what it tastes like based on my facial expression. Now, I have to remind everybody, I don't like the texture of Peeps. I'm not sure if I'm going to like the flavor of this one. It's a mystery Peep. Here we go. Okay, now that I've had this peep melting away in my mouth, I'm going to go ahead and wind down, move into the patron hangout. Today, I'd like to talk a bit about drones. It's going to be the dedicated topic, at least initially. So if you want to talk drones, that's going to be the video hangout for you today, exclusive to my patrons. You can join us starting at just $2 a month. More information at chrispirillo.com. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.